Welcome to this episode of Expedition to Soul. This is a coffee chat replay. So, once per week, I host a coffee chat in our community space. It's hosted in a software called Circle. It's where we host our communities for our programming. And most every Sunday, I host a coffee chat in there where we vision cast for the week ahead. We use practical tools like planning, but also the magical act of vision casting to align our lives to the way that we want to feel. And I usually bring a little extra oomph to these conversations as well. So today's podcast episode is a coffee chat replay. Sit back, unwind, grab a pen and paper, grab your planner, your vision board, and let's freaking do this. If the word witch makes you feel full of power and excitement, if you love personal development but loathe boring love and light conversation, if a sexy combo of witchery and inner work piques your interest, you're in the right place. Welcome home, Magic Maker, and welcome to Expedition to Soul, the podcast brought to you by the Sisters Enchanted. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Sunday coffee chat. I'm excited to be back with you. I'm coming at you from my camper, my big old RV. My embarrassingly large RV, as you might hear me say. If you are new to our community or you are new to our YouTube page and you're watching this in the future on the replay, I record these live most weeks. Some weeks, I am not able to do it. But this week, this is recorded live. So if you're watching this on our YouTube in a few days, then you know why I'm saying hi to people right now. All right, I see in the comments that I am good to go. So welcome back, everybody, to our Sunday coffee chats. Again, I am on the road, so hopefully the internet is all good. Have patience, take deep breaths, all those things. If I start to appear choppy and whatnot, I'll always keep talking unless something happens that makes me stop talking. I just assume you can still hear me, which is more important than seeing me anyway. All right, y'all, our Sunday coffee chats. I love to host these so that you can come back to your center, come back to your own personal energy and vision cast for the week ahead. Also, I love to bring you maybe a tidbit, some information. And this week, I want to share with you a journaling practice that I have been doing. And it's a common misconception that I have some big, long, extensive journaling practice that I do every single day. You won't believe how many people have said that to me. Like, Sara, you must journal all the time because of everything that you teach and everything you talk about. Well, I don't typically journal like that much every single day, but recently I have enacted a morning journaling practice. So I'm going to share that with you here today. If you are new here, you're in the right place. If you are a witchy woman or a witchy curious woman, an emerging witchy woman who is looking to bring more magic to your everyday life, then we are the people for you. All right. Sunday coffee chat time. Here's where we start with this. I want you to think back, get in your internal time machine if you can. Go back to the beginning of the year and think to yourself, did you set a goal or intention for this year? Remember, if you're not in our programming where you have learned the difference, how we talk about these things, goals are yes or no, action-oriented sort of items. So you can set a goal to learn to roast a chicken. I don't know, but yes or no, you did or you didn't do it. We talk about intentions as being feelings based. So we always start with lunar intentions. Lunar, that's your feeling, how you want to feel. And then we move to your solar. How are you going to see it in your life? What are you going to do to make that happen? Lunar intentions and solar goals. So you'll hear us say intention and goal, and that's the differentiation. So I see some yeses here. Think back. Did you set an intention? Did you set a goal? Renee made a turkey yesterday. I love it. September harvest energy. Intention, goal. What were those? Put them in your head. Now, I want you to keep that in there. My intention for the year was to feel unflinching. Of course, those of you who know me said I know I used a curse word to say it, but anyway, unflinching is my intention, how I wanted it to feel. Now, I did not really set particular goals for the year. I wanted to feel unflinching. Now, I want you to zoom back into right now. We just had our Virgo new moon, or not just now, it's been about a week. We had our Virgo new moon. Did you set a goal and intention for this lunar cycle? Right. Now ask yourself that. So we have our yearly goal and intention. Now we have our lunar cycle. Do they sort of Tetris style fit together, or are they completely random? Do they not fit together at all? My lunar intention for this cycle was to feel tended to. I want to feel tended to by my own self. I want to tend to my own self. And I did set some goals. So are they in alignment? Are they in alignment? Now that's a whole year. So it doesn't mean they have to be the exact same, but are they like energetically in the same realm? Or have you you've gone to Mars when we're here on Earth? Let's bring them together. So we know your year, where you're going. Now we know your lunar cycle, where you think you're going this lunar cycle. And it's okay if you haven't done it. We're all human here. We are all human. I am as human as you. Sometimes I'm like, oh my gosh, what even happened the last 2 weeks? Let me get back in alignment. But that's why we do this. And then I want you to think about this week ahead, the next week that we are moving into. We know how we wanted to feel this year, what goals we had, if you had them, maybe you didn't. We know how you want to feel this lunar cycle, if you have any goals. How do we vision cast this week to be proactive with our lives, to be the witches with all of the power to cast into being the life we want to be living? What do we need to put on the calendar, on the to-do list, on the sticky note that you slap on your bathroom mirror, whatever works for you? What has to happen this week to help you feel the way you want to feel and reach those goals? Now, this becomes a weekly sacred practice. I think that what we see in popular culture, or when a person walks into their first metaphysical shop and sees tarot cards and crystals and incense and yes, now we're all Stevie Nicks in our kimonos and bell bottoms in September, living that witch life. But the thing about reclaiming your power and claiming this word witch is really claiming a life that other people won't claim for themselves. It is standing in your otherness, in your unique magical blueprint, no matter what, and being unwavering in it. And so when we have a weekly sacred practice of vision casting for the week ahead, this is how we actually create these lives that feel like magic. And it's exactly how, me and my embarrassingly large RV are able to live and see this beautiful world and do all the things I do, because I made a weekly practice of it. All right, so I want you to think about that for a second. What I just said about the energy alignment of your year, your lunar cycle, and the week ahead. And I love what Judy says in the comments. I'm great at making to-do lists, but then, and this is why it's a practice. So we use the word practice when we talk about our spiritual practice, when we talk about our witchcraft or witchery, or if you have a religious practice, and being this embodiment of the witch is part of that. So remember, people are here from all kinds of belief systems, whatever that looks like for you. But the word practice is no different than if you're learning to play the piano. Well, you practice. So if we're making this a weekly sacred practice, we are connecting with the energy of the thing we want to be doing and making it a practice. Now, the thing about practices is sorting out what works for you. You might be a person who writes your to-do list and it is completely out of sight, out of mind. So can you use modern technology? Can you use all these, I don't want to say it because my cell phone will start talking to me, but the different things built into cell phones that can give you reminders. Can you ask your cell phone assistant, if you have an iPhone, it's, Siri, or if you have a Android phone, what do you use for that? Google? I don't know. I have an iPhone, but can you say, hey, to your assistant, your phone assistant, and say, make me a to-do list. Remind me each day at 7 a.m. of the to-do list. I use a service that texts me every single day the to-do list that I ask it to text me because I will forget. So how can you deploy either modern technology or good old-fashioned sticky notes? Write your to-do list on a sticky note, put it on the kitchen wall, put it on the bathroom wall, put it on your bedroom wall, and just take down a sticky note as you do all of the things. What does it look like for you to bring this to life? And we can bring in all of our beautiful witchery practices. If you have a to-do list and you're using like the sticky note method, for example, can you use crystals and make a crystal grid out of your to-do list? Can you get your favorite flower essence or your favorite incense, light your incense, and then take the burnt end once it's blown out, of course, and use the ash to write yourself an affirmation for yourself, to remind yourself that everything is coming for you in just the right time, right? What can you do to create a practice of this weekly session that you are hosting for yourself? All right. Now, as you vision cast for your week ahead, I want you to think about how you want to feel and what you're going to do to feel that way. And this is where your intention, how you want to feel, and your actions, your solar actions align, right? So how you want to feel and the solar actions that are going to make you feel that way. When you're looking at the week ahead, anything that has a specific time commitment to it. So this for me has a time commitment, 10 a.m. on Sunday, I got to be here. That goes on the calendar first. If you have appointments, if you work, if you have people you care for, family dinners, places you have to be at a certain time, those go on the calendar first. From there, you zoom out again and say, how do I want to feel? What am I going to do to feel that way? And then you can look at this calendar and sort out what adjustments need to be made or what you want to put on there to support you in your life's journey. Now, it is so important to do your energetic releasing, your reclaiming of your energy hygiene, if you want to call it that, and release blame, shame, guilt. If you've been doing this for 2 months to no avail so far, or if last week you completely forgot everything and you're like, I made the to-do list, I never looked at it, I'm never going to reach my goals. Oh my gosh, I'm such a failure. Let all of that go. Reclaim your energy and come back to this present moment. Remind yourself that life is a living experience. You are experiencing life just as life is experiencing its own energy all around you. And you are moving within this universal energy. And we can release all of the negative emotions, all the negative thoughts, banish it, just come back to right now. It's a clean slate and forecast, vision cast for the week ahead. I love to do this again. I kind of reset every afternoon or evening before I go to bed. I look at my calendar, I look at the next day so that I can get up and know exactly what energy I'm stepping into. I'm a person who just gets up, gets at it in the morning, which is why this journaling practice I'm going to share with you is such a new and sort of exciting thing for me. All right, as you're doing this, you can also identify blocks, barriers, any shadow that you can already see popping up for you as you look at the week ahead. So if you already know that, on Tuesday, you're going to be mad at the world for something, you know it. So now you're either being reactive to it on Tuesday or you're being proactive around it. So I know for myself, if I have a lot of calls in one day and I know that I have other work obligations and I also have to have dinner with my grandparents, I eat with them once a week at least. If my kids need something, I already know that I need extra support for myself on that day because I'm going to feel pulled in 100 different directions. So now that I've vision cast for my week ahead, I've got 2 choices. Wait till Tuesday and be reactive and mad at everybody, or go ahead and be proactive. Take the extra time on Monday that I need to set myself up for success. Clear an hour on Wednesday to go for a walk. Get help on Tuesday with some activity so somebody else can do something that I don't have to do, or how can I lessen the load in some way? And that is what this is how this ties into a witchcraft practice, because the idea of being a witch is really around reclaiming your power, standing in your power when other people wouldn't, And the history of the word witch is one where people who were really just different or kind of easy scapegoats for something were called witches when they had nothing to do with what we would call witchery today. So you're automatically using the word witch, also aligning yourself with this otherness. So let's all be other in our ability to create these lives that feel powerful and confident and like magic, and that remind you every single day of how alive you are. And so you see possibility. And that's what I want for all of you. All right. So that's what I want you to do today. Make a practice of it. Now, I was saying a minute ago that I do an evening practice where I look at the next day. So when I think of setting an intention or really like new moon energy, planting the seeds, resting kind of energy, I actually utilize that type of energy before I go to bed at night. And then I look at that resting, wintering energy that comes with a new moon or in the season's winter as my sleep over the night, right? Like sleep throughout the night. And then in the morning, I wake up really in that take action, spring oriented, first quarter moon kind of energy. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, if you're in the free event that starts soon, we're going to be kind of talking about these topics a little bit more in depth there. And those of you who are in holistic witchery, I hope you know what I'm talking about. Class starts again soon if you need a primer. But I wake up and get right into that take action kind of energy. So I don't have to think about it because I did that the night before. But recently, I have been taking some time every morning to do a little bit of journaling, which actually is, it's not the first time I've done that, of course, but it's new for me to do it like daily and consistently. And I don't journal about anything in particular, but I am pulling cards in the same way every single day. All right. So I start by thinking about something that might be coming up for me, either in my life or an experience that I'm having or something that I would like to cultivate more of. And sometimes this is personal related, sometimes it's family related, sometimes it's work related. It could be, anywhere on the spectrum of events, but something that I could maybe want clarity on it, but maybe I just also want to talk it out. So sometimes my journaling starts really as like a talking it out with myself. So for example, today, I actually did not do it today, mostly because I got up and I was taking notes for this and I was taking notes for something else. And I did do writing today, but it was for other things. Actually, the event coming up in about a week or so that starts. I was taking notes on that and journaling and thinking about it. But this week I've looked at communication. I've looked at community. I have looked at, my own shadow. There was one area of life for me that I felt kind of in my head about this week. And I was wondering if I was being resistant or if I actually was holding to my values, because we can trick ourselves, right? Really easily into thinking like taking sides with ourselves. And I wasn't sure, am I just trying to back up what I believe or am I really sticking to my value here? So I sat down, grabbed my pen, grabbed my paper, and I started writing about it. And I started kind of just journaling, clearing my head. Again, no specific prompt. I just started saying, well, these are my values. This is where I have seen myself waffle on that in the past. This is what's happening now. And I kind of talked myself through it. And again, I've been doing this most days of the week, like for the last 2 weeks, minus today. And then once I finish my journaling, I pull some cards. Now, I want to point out, I don't pull the cards first. I pull the cards secondarily. So I do the journaling first, which is really more of a self-talk session. I'm not using specific prompts. Like one day I just wrote down the word community, and then I started writing about it because it was something I had been thinking about. And so I'm having the self-talk journaling. And then I pull my cards. Now, those of you who are familiar with us here at the Sisters Enchanted, you've been through different programs. Maybe you've done our Born Magic, magical self-care class. You've done holistic witchery. You are familiar with our 5 eyes. So this will not be totally new to you, but this is how I've been pulling my cards every single day. And I have my current journal that I'm writing in right here. So you'll see, I just write the words down for, the different 5 eyes, which I'll talk about them. And then I pull a card for each one. When I place the cards down, I did draw it out for you. So if you're watching this right now live, or if you're listening on the podcast, you're going to have to go over to the blog post to see a picture of it. But I will start with my intention, and then I place them as if I'm going clockwise around a compass, right? So north, east, south, west, and then one goes in the center for the fifth. And we'll be sure to type this out for you with the replay, and make sure you know what I'm talking about. My intention for you right now is not to memorize this in this exact moment. So I do my journaling, and then I pull my first card for the word intention, which is the first of this 5I framework that we teach. So we teach a framework to help banish negative thinking so that you can be more confident, stand in your power, and consciously create this life you desire to be living. Even if you don't quite yet know what it is you're consciously creating, just more goodness in your life. So I start with intention. Now, when I'm talking about this as my example, this area where I was really stuck in my head, am I just trying to back myself up, make excuses, or am I really sticking to my values here? So I asked myself, with intention, how do I want to feel? What would it feel like to be in my values, to know the difference, right, of where I'm in my head or if I'm in my values? So I pull a card for that. That's my first card. It goes on the top spot. The next card I pull is integrate. And the subject of integrate is taking action. So then I pull a card, what do I need to know, or what do I need to see? What action do I need to take? Now, the thing about this card spread and the way that I've been doing this is it's pretty open-ended. So when I go to the action part, it's not always what action do I need to take? What do I need to know about my actions? It can also just be this idea of integrating into my life. And then when I pull the card, I'm tapping into my self-trust to get the message and kind of align it to what I needed to know without a very specific question. So intention, what's happening with my intention? What's happening with my feelings right now, with my emotional body? Integrate, that's the next one. What's happening around actions? What do I need to know? What can I learn? What haven't I tried yet? But when I see the card, that's when I kind of align it to what I journaled about. So it's really a practice in self-trust, which is why I'm sharing this with you and why I'm really enjoying it, because it's not prescriptive, which some of you will not like, because you like someone to tell you step by step exactly what to do. But in doing it in this way, it's helping me flex my self-trust, helping me to see the thoughts that I'm thinking that I don't even realize I'm thinking, right? And then the next card that I pull is insight, and that's my shadow. So what around shadow do I need to know here? The fourth card is ideate, which is dreaming, future visioning. What haven't I explored or thought of yet? And then I just dropped my phone. I was going to show you guys a picture. The last card is intuition, and that's kind of bringing it all together. Now, now that I think of it, I sent one of these card spreads to Team TSE the other day because it was a really good, it was a great card pull. Now I'm going to try to show it on the screen, but I don't have any false conceptions that you're all going to just be able to see this. But you can sort of maybe see that I had it laid out in the 4 pieces with the intuition in the middle. And what I loved about this particular one, this is actually the example I'm giving you. This is the one I sent Team TSE. I loved it because it was so helpful. And for the shadow part, I actually got the sun card. And I thought that was so interesting because whenever you take solar actions, whenever you take action in your life and you shine your confidence and your brightness on something, your shadows are more likely to appear. Because you will start to falter the more you put yourself out there because of other people's expectations, societal expectations, people's feedback that you asked for or didn't ask for, criticism you weren't ready to receive, right? And so I loved that I actually got the sun in the shadow place because I felt like it was very validating to me to look at the brightest things that were coming up for me when I was feeling resistant to my own self, having my own self-doubt, second guessing myself, right? And so the highlights of this is not for you to just memorize what I just said and go do it. You can adapt this in any way that works for you. But in doing this journal practice, it's very not prescriptive. So I'm not picking a journal prompt. And even I'm using our 5 eyes as the basis for my card pulls, but I'm not using them in a prescriptive, this is exactly what this position means. It's more an invitation. So when I pull that first card, intention, how do I intend to feel? It's an invitation to explore feeling. When I pull integrate, and that's action, it's an invitation to explore action. And because I journaled first and had this like kind of inner dialogue with myself through writing, and I put it out on paper and really kind of talked something out with myself, it's helping me see points that I didn't see before, or maybe validate areas or ask questions of myself, poke holes in what it is that I've been thinking. And I'm loving it as a tool for self-inquiry, investigation, and clarity. And so those of you who have taken holistic witchery, go back through the 5 eyes and give this a shot, because it is a beautiful extension way to use those methods. Or if you have the Born Magic book through Magical Self-Care, if you just have it, we outline the 5 eyes for you in there as well. All right, this deck, I see the question. This is the Little Reaper Tarot. I absolutely love it. And it is sold by the person who made it at Push Kitty. Push, like you're going to push something, and kitty, like a kitty cat. Push Kitty. And the Little Reaper Tarot. It is absolutely adorable and super cute. My 7-year-old wants his own copy for Christmas. He asked for one last year, and I was like, I think, yeah, I'm not sure I'm willing to buy my 6-year-old a $49 tarot deck, but maybe this is the year. He's been asking now. This will be his second Christmas asking for it, so I might have to give. But it's super cute. I love it. Anyway, so that is an idea for you. And I don't spend tons of time doing it. If you've been with Sisters Enchanted for any period of time, then you might have heard me say our number one value here is that we all lead with kindness, with ourselves, with each other. And then from a team and community perspective, the next one that we filter everything through is being time intentional. The thing that we all lose our nervous system over is money all the time. All of us are like, there's not enough money. How am I going to earn more money? My money's gone. How am I going to do this with money? But the thing that is a truly finite resource you cannot get more of is your time. The reality is you can earn more money. You can, if you are here watching this with the technology to watch this, there is some food source available to you in your local community. Like these things that we really lose our, the butterflies appear, the anxiety, the stifling, oppressive thoughts is typically around money, but it's your time that is your only finite resource, which is why we do these Sunday coffee chats. And I encourage you to make a weekly sacred practice of vision casting your week ahead and using the tools that you love to do it, incorporating it into your sacred practice. Set yourself up a sacred space for doing this. Time management is an act in reclaiming your power. It is an act in declaring what you will and will not do with your energy. It is an act in vision casting and manifestation. You can buy 100 books on manifestation, and I will tell you that if you come home from work and you get on your sofa and you scroll your phone and drink a half a bottle of wine, you will not manifest anything except for those books collecting dust on your shelf. On your shelf. And when you sit down and you reclaim your energy, you reclaim your power. What takes your energy? Things that you're being reactive to, things that you have not said no to. The time sucks, the energy sucks, the phone calls from the family members that go on for 90 minutes of the same thing they've been complaining about for the last 5 years and have not done nothing in their life, but somehow you're dragged into it. Like they've done nothing to change it in their life and you're dragged into it. Your time is finite. And so the journaling for me, it's typically pretty quick. I get it out there. I just put the pen to paper and I start writing. I do my 5 eyes. And I have found that it has really helped me get some of these things that I'm stewing on out of my head on paper, clearer mind, and I am more confident in the next action that I take in the moment. And Stephanie is saying here, what we focus on grows, even if it's unintentional. And that is so, so true, which is, be proactive to your life, not reactive to it. And there's so many people out there. I see it all the time in witch spiritual sort of communities where there is such a focus on like releasing to the universe and this belief that you need like the exact right crystals and the exact right herbs, and then you can change this energy, or you can banish this negative thing, or you can call in this positive thing. And I don't necessarily on a surface level disagree with any of that. I mean, I use crystals, I use tea and herbs, I release to, whatever the thing is that I'm going to just let it go to and say, this is no longer my responsibility. The universe will handle it as the universe will. And within that, the most powerful practice I have is the practice of maintaining my power over my time and energy. And that, I think, is the secret ingredient that so many people don't share. And maybe because it feels boring, or maybe because it feels like something that so many people think they're not good at, and nobody wants to highlight to other people what they're not good at, right? And I bet so many people in the comments here are like, yeah, calendar's all well and good, never follow mine. To-do list, all well and good, I never do it. Yeah, but what do I do when I don't have the motivation? And that's what makes it a practice. You've got to keep at it, and you also have to figure out what works for you. And remember that you're an ever-changing being. Some seasons I'm a sticky note person. Some seasons I'm a pen and paper person. This season I've got tech reminding me across the board, be here at this time, Sara. Do this thing at this time. And that's the season that I'm in right now. And it's what's working for me right now. You are a person who's ever changing. Your brain, your hormones, your body, your energy is ever changing. We have to be open to following those little wisps as they come up and trying the new thing. And so it's always a practice too, in learning, who am I in this season? What tool supports me in this season? And then letting go of the guilt, the blame, the shame when it's not working, right? So I'll give one more example, and then I'm going to wrap us up here today. So I'm going to I'll verbalize it, right? So instead of writing it, I will verbally do one here. Let me think of what I could do. So if I am thinking that, for today, if I sat down to do it, because I did not do it today. So what might I do that is something I can say out loud? I might sit down and think about, okay, this is a really no holds, this is like a low level example, right? But a fun fact about me that you might not know is that I worked retail for a lot of years. Until I had children, I always worked 2 jobs, always. And actually, when I had my first child, I owned a different business and started the Sisters Enchanted. So I would argue that until I had my second child, I always worked 2 jobs. And for a lot of that, I worked retail. And I came up in designer outlet retail. That's where I learned my retail skills. And so in that environment, I also really love to get dressed. Like, I love fashion, and you all don't get to see that because you just see me from the head all the time. But I mean, for years, we're talking stilettos and leather skirts and lacy tops and satin. Like, I love fashion. And it's not really been a part of my life for the last, 10 years or so. And so recently I've been thinking like, oh man, like I'd love to get even more like dressed more than I already do. Because I do get dressed every day. I get up and I get dressed. And again, you all don't get to see it, but I'm often wearing dresses, like skirts. I am dressed daily because I love to get dressed. And I'm finding myself like wanting to buy more clothes and more like clothes, not everyday clothes, like clothes, but I really have no use case for that. Like, I don't have a purpose. And so if I were to sit down and think about that, I would maybe start with writing the word, like life stage is maybe what I would consider there. And maybe if I wrote down life stage, I would journal first on that, and verbalizing it for you all right now, I could process this as, well, my life stage right now, we are in our RV. I hike, I camp, I walk around my backyard barefoot. Like when I go out to eat at restaurants, there are places where flat shoes and sneakers are perfectly acceptable. So life stage right now does not align with me buying, you know, a pair of knee-high stiletto boots that I do not need. Nobody will ever see. When am I going to wear them? On the flip side, if I was journaling about this, but how does it make me feel? Does it make me feel powerful and strong and sexy to wear those, even if I'm just wearing them at home? Or could I prioritize date night and wear them out, or girls' night with my sister or friends and wear them? And then I'll just feel a certain way when I wear them. Does it matter where I wear them? Like, will it make me feel a certain way, which will have residual effects in my life? So that's what I would be writing if I was journaling this. What is the question? And even speaking it out loud here, I don't have a lot of answers. So I've sort of verbally processed it, and I'm going to pull my cards now. Y'all are in my brain. I hope you I never wish anybody to be in my brain. It's a very chaotic place. All right. So my first card is intention. And again, I'm sort of verbally processing this for you. So I'm pulling the 7 of Wands. And that definitely for how I feel as I pull this card, I think this is affirming to me that I'm feeling a little bit at internal battle with myself right now over this, yes, there's a good case for both. Like, does it matter how I wear them if it makes me feel a certain way? Or do I really need this right now? No, I don't. And so this is validating my feelings of being at like internal conflict with myself. But what I'm seeing here is I don't want to feel like I'm pushing a piece of myself down. So I also see, like in this card in particular, kind of pushing that ghost back into the hole. And I am thinking, I don't want to feel like I'm pushing myself down, though. So I start with there. The next one's integrate, action. Let's see here. And I've got the High Priestess. The High Priestess. Oh my gosh. Now, the meaning of the High Priestess is around intuition, inner knowing. But when I see this and I actually just see the words High Priestess, like I think what would make me feel like a High Priestess? And again, here, I'm still like seeing some confusion because me being barefoot or hiking in the woods makes me feel like a High Priestess. But also me and like the 4-inch stilettos I've been looking at that I don't need by Steve Madden, I definitely don't need would make me feel like a High Priestess. So let's continue on. The next one's Shadow. And what do we have here? Oh, the Page of Swords, y'all. This one is not feeling clear as day to me. So I look at the Page of Swords as here, like getting curious about what's going on here. The Page of Swords is also a bit in general of like, maybe you could be like hiding something from myself or truth I don't want to know yet. Let's look at the next card for ideation. So looking forward, dreaming, what's a new vision I haven't explored yet? And I'll have you all know, it's not like I don't own many pairs of 4-inch heels that I currently don't wear. The Magician. Everything I have is within me. Everything I have is within me. And as I just say that to you, it's not like I don't already have a bunch of 4-inch heels I don't wear. I already have all the tools that I need. So I love this because I can see through these cards that I pulled up to this is like my inner just mess about this like very small thing that is a pair of shoes, right? And so I lead this example by saying I realize that's a small potatoes problem, but this is what's in my head right now. And so the Magician, I think that's affirmation that actually I really just have everything I need, and maybe I can reimagine using the tools I already have. So maybe I could take those shoes out and wear them and for the first time, shop my own closet, Sarah. All right, intuition here. Let's see. The 9 of Cups. Yeah, so I just said shop my own closet, got the 9 of Cups. I think that I will be like abundant and happy and pleasantly surprised, self-trust if I do the thing I just said and just shop my own closet. All right, so there we go. I just processed that. Now that was an example that I used live here. Sometimes coming up with examples to give live, like for real earth shattering ones can be challenging because, verbal processing of things. I never know what I'm going to say. But that's an example of me going through it for you. And as I look at this too, I see that the Nine of Cups and the High Priestess, when I'm looking at the cards, they're the only two characters looking right at me. And so I always love to look at the imagery of cards and what's looking away, what's looking at each other. And I love that the Nine of Cups and the High Priestess are looking right at me, because it's like, Sara, you really do just need to do the thing that, you know, makes you feel both the way you want to feel and abundant, and like the High Priestess, and you already have tools that will make you feel that way. So there's an example of me verbalizing the whole thing for you. All over high heel shoes. But that is how, and again, would I have written that in my journal today? I don't know, but it was really something, because I've looked at the shoes like so many times over the past week. It's embarrassing to admit how many times I've looked at them, but I have not bought them. And in the past, I would have just bought them right away. But I am, more grounded in myself now, and really trying to align my decisions, my time, my more finite energies with my values and what I want to be living in this life. And while I do love this one pair of shoes I've been dreaming of, the reality is I have plenty of pairs of shoes at home that would already do the job that I have not worn. They're in a bin in my closet, in a storage bin. And I could probably take them out and dust them off, put them on, and like go see Beetlejuice wearing my high heels that I haven't worn in forever. So maybe that's exactly what I will do. See, y'all, thank you. I appreciate being asked that question, because y'all just helped me today really get out of my head over buying a pair of shoes. And I know that you all can relate to this. Something as silly as that. And this was like, I'm like, well, should I spend the money? Do I need them? Am I going to wear them? Blah, blah, blah. And how we can lose our energy and spend our energy on these like actually insignificant things in life. Like, it's pretty insignificant to my whole life, whether or not I buy this pair of shoes, right? But how much time and energy have I put into it? And if I could get clear faster on these little bits and bobs that we get in our head about, how much energy can you open up for the powerful, meaningful sort of stuff? And really just get on with life, right? Get on with life. Anyway, yes, I do love clothing. So if anybody saw my closet, you would think that I like actually went to work in an office somewhere and did not sit on my tushy on the computer when people could only see me. Yay, hi, every day, because I love clothes so much. But my use case for them is that I don't really, I hike, I walk, I exercise, I work on Zoom screens, and take my kids to Taekwondo, I eat dinner with my grandparents, I homeschool. Not a lot of reason for me to get like dressed up every day, but I do get dressed. Right now I have on, you get this really weird. Right now I'm wearing my checkerboard Vans, a pair of jeans, even though I haven't left the house yet, or the camper in this case. But I just love to get up and get dressed. Anyway, all right then. And Renee, thank you for that. Renee's giving me future parenting tips on raising a daughter. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'll need 10, mine's 10, and she's already, I'm like, I don't know. I remember being 10. I remember being 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, all that. And I don't know if I'm ready for this, but this too shall pass. All right, I'm going to go ahead and wrap us up there. Thank you all for hanging out with me today. I hope that you feel inspired to vision cast your week ahead, create a sacred space of it, light a candle, reclaim your power, do some energy hygiene, get away all that people's expectations, the expectations you have of yourself for no damn reason. Let it all go. Come back to yourself. What's your truth? What are your values? What's your vision? What's your intention? What are your goals? Vision the week ahead on there. Come home to yourself, and maybe, journal, pull some cards. Put that in there as well. I love all this about the dressing and the cozies. Y'all are the best. Y'all are my people. All right. So if you are not in the Autumn Equinox Sacred Shadow event, we start in about a week. Go ahead and get signed up for that. It is free. The link is everywhere. Remember, your Sunday Stay Magic newsletter comes out each Sunday. Go get it out of your spam folder. We're a small business, and Google loves to put us in the spam folder. And it helps us so much if you yank it out and click the link to go check out the newsletter. I write it personally every week right now. Currently, I write it every week. So go check it out, take it out, explore it. This week's had some tips on kitchen magic for you. And then if you are not a person who's in our Holistic Witchery program, we will be opening doors on that in a couple weeks. So keep that on your radar, if it's in alignment with your energy and your time and all the things. If not, you're still welcome here. We love you all very much. All right, y'all. That's officially it. Thank you for hanging out, and I will see you next week. Bye. If you love the podcast, be sure to leave us a rating or a review. That helps us to get the word out about all we're doing here at the Sisters Enchanted. Thanks for being part of our community, and we'll see you in the next episode.